Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I want to talk about this idea that we're in the junk slab, another junk wax or junk card era because of all the overprinting that the companies are doing today. Now, I will say this 100% that there are iconic cards that's going to be collected in 20 plus years being created right now. However, we're making it very hard on us as collectors or investors to really see the value.
It's hard to see exactly, but
Yeah,
it's there. Yeah.
it is hard to see.
Because of things like this. Mac Jones has 1,000 different 101 rookie cards. That's just 101s. Can you imagine what all the other cards add up? I think it's, there was post something like, 4,000 rookie cards for some of these new players. That's just going to be so overwhelming. And what I'm talking about is for the future. So you have to think about this in terms of, let's say, 20 years from now. What cards are going to be iconic? What cards are going to be the ones that are going to be winners and losers? All 1,000 of these Mac Jones 101 cards won't be treated the same. So will the sets that we think are popular today going to be popular tomorrow? That's really the big question here, is how do you distinguish between the sets that are winners and losers? Because I guarantee you some of the sets that we think are popular and awesome today may not even be around in the future. Back in 2012, when we had Topps Chrome Football and Andrew Luck, we all thought that the Topps Chrome card would be, one of his best cards. And little did we know that Topps Chrome was going to go away. That in 2015 would be the last year we saw for Topps Chrome until maybe after Fanatics, bought Topps. But, if that deal had never happened, Topps Chrome Football may have been gone forever. So who knows if Prism's going to be around forever? National Treasures. Flawless. But the idea that some cards are going to be iconic and are going to be rare and collectible is true. But it's going to be very hard to figure it out. And, people might say, sure, it's easy. Just look at the box price. Look at the design. That's not always the case. Now, one of the things I want to show you is, how, we've changed as a hobby and what, this is going to look like in the future because it's going to keep proliferating. So if you go back to 2001 Bowman Chrome, what I consider to be sort of this starting of this, rookie card craze, in terms of you had premium inserted rookies that were part of the set. They were part of what you would put together if you're going to put together a full set of these cards. And you had one copy, you had one version, the autograph rookie refractor. There wasn't gold at this point, there wasn't X-Fractor, red, orange, whatever. You had one choice. So it was easy if you wanted to get the Albert Pujols rookie auto that was the best of the best, the number one. It was very simple. And that simplicity in the life of the collector is pretty much gone. We don't have these easy choices where I have a few cards to pick from. I am a Ken Griffey Jr. collector. And even Ken Griffey Jr. collectors will look at cards from the 90s and 2000s differently. Cards from the 2000s showing him as a red, number to 100, don't sell near as much as a card from the 90s showing him as a Mariner. And that's just collectors differentiating and making their own value determinations, not based on rarity, not based on card design, not based on player, based on some predetermined time frame where we said we value the Griffey cards just like Jordan cards on his first team. Everything else is going to be valued much lower. And I think that's going to happen as we go forward, because these easy choices we had of one card that was the best, the easy choice is gone. So if you look at 2021 Bowman Chrome as an example, and you scroll down to the prospect autos, and you'll see, starting here, there's a whole myriad of prospect autos. So there's black and white mini diamond, refractors, speckle refractors, purple refractors, blue refractors, HTA choice, atomic refractors, green atomic refractors, yellow refractors, gold refractors, gold shimmer refractors, orange refractors, or shimmer refractors, orange wave refractors, red refractors, red shimmer refractors, red wave refractors, black mojo, and super refractors. There's 3 numbered to 25 refractors autos and 3 numbered to 5 autos. There's 2 inserts or 2 autographs numbered to 99 and 1 to 100. It makes no sense. There's no way that all these cards can be valued properly based on this rarity. So it's going to come down to choice. Collectors are going to have to compartmentalize their thinking, their wants and needs and their likes in something that makes sense. And I know people have said, the red refractors will outsell, let's say, the red shimmer or the red wave, just because it's got more heritage, more legacy. And maybe that's one of the things we look at is inserts that have been around a long time, have a little bit of hobby history, some connection to the past. Maybe that's the key. Maybe it's just one-of-ones. Who knows? If they keep making them in the thousands, there'll be enough to go around. But I do feel like, set design or these heritage type designs that we're used to seeing will have some future relevance. Now, will that always be the case? No. I think some brands will eventually go away. I think some things will become less popular. Now, the last thing I want to look at here is, Prism Football from 2021. And just to see, the amount of parallels for, the regular Prism, and this fact that, we're seeing, a lot of autograph, variations, but not as much as Bowman Chrome. But what I'm going to say is that even though maybe you look at the hobby parallels here for Prism Football, and you're seeing 2, 4, 6, 8, and you got the no huddles, that adds another 3, so you're talking 11. Okay, but it's going to keep proliferating because the manufacturers know that variations and parallels allow them to increase print runs while not appearing to dilute the product. And as prices spiral out of control, and I don't think we're due for a correction on pricing just yet, and I'll explain why I think that. But, this excuse to print more and charge more money is going to keep going for a little bit longer because the supply chain really hasn't fixed itself. The availability of the materials and the printers is still not great for these companies, but the cost of doing these products is going to go up. So that's going to get passed along. But what we found is that the price elasticity for sports cards pretty much had no ceiling. As someone who works in a company, and we do price elasticity studies to look at where should we price our product and how high can we go before the consumer starts to reject it. I think you've got, companies like Panini, Fanatics, especially Fanatics, that's done these studies and realized, maybe there's no ceiling. Maybe we can double, triple, quadruple our pricing, which they have to some products, and people will still sell out because they have multiple avenues to sell. Fanatics has their website, they have breakers, and they have just the standard retail market. So, I think that pricing proliferation is going to happen for a little bit longer. It's going to take us as collectors rejecting products, them staying on shelves, them not selling out, them having to discount them on their website, them having to run promotions and deals to remove it from their inventory before they quit printing quite as much and maybe adjusting things. And that's really the only hope, I think, if we want to really stem this tide a little bit, Because
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
you know, if everything is a red refractor, if everything is a 101, if everything is, a special kind of card, then how do we know which ones are truly good, which ones are truly special? That's going to make the collectors confused. And confusion makes collectors, in some cases, give up. I remember back in the 90s specifically when the proliferation of the low numbered inserts, and even when the first 101s came out, the hardcore top set collectors, let's say, the guys who put together sets every year, I'm putting together every set possible. It, made them, really sad because they couldn't, they know they couldn't collect everything anymore. At one point, some of these guys had every baseball card printed from 1951 or 1952, depending on when you want to start the Topps run, all the way into the, the 90s. And then they couldn't keep up. Now, today, no one has that mentality. No one's going to say, I'm going to have every Mac Jones card, every Trevor Lawrence card, because that's just impossible because of all the 101s and all these variations. If there's so many versions of every card, so many parallels, no one's going to know how to value those cards, and the confusion's going to be massive, not just today, but 20 years from now, when some of these cards will be of an all-time great, of someone who people are going to want to collect, like a Tom Brady, like a Peyton Manning. And that's going to be the time period when people are going to have to figure out how to make sense of all this. So, in the end, what I wanted to say is that too much of a good thing is a bad thing. You can get cancer from drinking too much water, according to some studies. Too much of anything is bad. And right now, we're being fed through a fire hose in the hobby. And until we start rejecting products and leaving things on the shelf and telling our, hobby gods that it's not what we want, we need something more limited, we need, the print runs to go down, we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more and more proliferation, more and more parallels, because that's what they think will make them more money, but they think that's what the collectors really want. And I think what we really want is consistency, good designs, good quality control, and price points that are reasonable. So that's it, guys. That's my take. That's what I think, in terms of how are we going to figure out, or what's going to be the future of some of these cards. And again, the last thought is I want to leave with you is there's going to be winners and there's going to be iconic cards, but it's going to be very hard to find them. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.